What is going on, everybody? Welcome to podcast episode 44. I'm going to be joined today by Dmitry, president of DNM Transportation. Just before we hop into today's show, we got to get through the efRouting top hauls of the week. It's going to be exciting to see the market, given all the current events that have been going on weather-wise. So we got dry van from Wisconsin, Indiana, coming at a 2.6 to 3.2. And we got a dry van from Los Angeles over to Glendale, short run, topping out at 4.3 a mile. The reefer side, we got PA to Mass coming in at 3.7 to all the way up almost $9 a mile. Then we got an Allentown, PA to Boston, 3.8 to almost 6 a mile. The flatbed side, Mississippi to Georgia, 3.2 to 4.4. And an Alabama to Texas coming in at 2.8 to 3.1. So besides the reefer high-end numbers, pretty standard freight. For best loop for the dry van, we start out in Dallas, heading over to Missouri, going over to Milwaukee, Lafayette, back to Milwaukee, ending up back in Dallas. About a week transit, anywhere from 5.6 to 9.8 on the gross. So, the high numbers here are pretty high. So, definitely some freight out there. Best loop for reefer, we got a Muncie, Indiana, over to Peoria, over to Allentown, Milwaukee, back to Muncie. Again, 5.7 to 7.4. On the reefer side, it's cooling down, getting closer to winter. Rates are definitely plummeting. And for flatbed, we got a North Carolina to Boston, over to Mass again, New Hampshire, PA, and back to Charlotte. Kind of an interesting route. Smaller on the miles, but definitely an interesting choice of route for the Northeast. But anyways, let's hop into today's show with Dmitry. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Alex? Thanks for having me.
Hey, I want to get into it with you. So you are a carrier company.
Yes, we're a carrier company based out of Illinois with, now it's 19 trucks, 4 of them are locals and 15 OTR.
There you go. And you guys special in mostly dry van freight, correct?
Only dry van, and we're currently working only on Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana to Texas and back. That's the only lane that we're currently working on.
Okay, we'll get into that in the middle part of the show, but how did you get into logistics and what was your start in this industry?
Oh man, I started in 2013, and from the beginning I want to become a truck driver. But from the age of 18 to 24, I messed up my MVR record pretty bad. And I had 4 pages of tickets. I had my license suspended twice. And that's how I ended up in dispatch.
But mostly just speeding tickets, small violations, nothing major.
Yeah, nothing. I never got in an accident or anything, no DUIs. But New Jersey back then had a system where you get 12 points and they will suspend your license. So that's why I started in the dispatch. I dispatched for several different companies in 8 years, and then I opened my own company after 8.
Okay, so you went from truck driver, got a little too many violations, headed into dispatch, and then you decided to open up your own carrier.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how did you start that? Did you start with one truck, or how did that kind of go?
Actually, I started with one truck. I was working as a dispatcher for the other company, and they were offering lease options. So I convinced a couple other drivers. I helped them out to buy trucks as well. That's how I opened MC, and we start I bought one truck, the other guy bought another truck. So pretty much started with 3 trucks, 1 for myself, 2 for the owner operators. And that was 3 years ago. Now we concentrate on most of it. We only have 2 owner operators, most of the company drivers. And yeah, it was a journey, nothing crazy.
Okay. So what was your first success in logistics? What was the first time? Maybe we can go through it as a driver and as a dispatcher. So what was your first success as a driver?
I actually never got a license because of my MVR. So that's why I pursued dispatch career. But as a dispatcher, I used to work for a Michigan company, and by using 10% of equipment, we were be able to increase their revenue by 27%. So that's why after and then COVID happened, and pretty much I opened a company in November of 2020 during the COVID, and the market, it was great.
Yeah, it was a fun time to be a dispatcher, fun time to be a carrier company and a truck driver. That's for sure. To put it lightly.
Yeah, now
Um,
we're in a different market.
yeah, I was gonna say now it's just kind of the reverse of having fun to not having fun. But what was your first failure? I mean, besides the whole losing the CDL thing.
Oh, first failure. I don't know. Like I actually hired a driver. Then next day he called me. He's like, "Oh, good morning." He's like, "I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How's everything?" He's like, "I totaled your truck." I'm like, "Ha ha ha, very funny." And then he sends me a video of brand new truck. We bought it W900 Kenworth, which cost like $220,000, smashed within a week. Total loss completely.
How did he like what on the highway? Like how?
Yeah, there was like a bridge, and there was a car like made a hard stop, and there was a pretty much pile up. My truck was the last one, and yeah, and car
Wow.
actually left the scene, so that's why each truck was responsible for their own damages.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good failure
I'm
then.
glad the driver was okay, and we still
Yeah,
have.
everyone else was okay. I mean, all right. Well, let's get into what is DNM doing these days. So you started out with the one truck and then slowly grew. So what's your equipment count now at total?
Currently, we have like 19 trucks and like 25 trailers, but we started in the beginning, like I said, during the COVID, I had everything, man. We had a flatbed, step decks, reefers, no matter which equipment you could get your hands on, you were making money, you know.
Yeah.
And then when markets start tightening up, we had to start analyzing what's bringing us more money, what are we losing money less on, like what kind of equipment we should run. And after analyzing all the numbers, we switched to the dry van only. And after analyzing routes and tolls, fuel prices and everything, that's why we like a little bit over a year and a half ago we start considering going to Texas only, just because you're going through the Gulf states like Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and fuel over there is one of the cheapest one in the
Yeah,
nation.
cheaper fuel, no
Oh, oh,
elevation, no
yeah,
mountains.
you don't getting hit up with like, let's say it's winter coming, I-80 is gonna be closed like sometimes like 3 4 days. You're losing money on that. East Coast, you're losing money on expensive fuel, expensive tolls, and everything. Even if you're running like 240 to 60 a mile, it's still not profitable on those routes. So that's why we
So
concentrate on going only Texas only.
so take me through that process because you said you had a few owner operators. Are they also running that same type of routes?
Yeah, same thing. Everybody's doing the same one lane. We're trying to concentrate, and spot needs to be all the time Laredo, Texas, and then from Laredo we concentrate on like bringing trucks back to Illinois area and going back and forth.
Okay, so just to clarify, you guys aren't running literally two loads inbound, outbound. You guys are obviously going to have to do sometimes shorter trips to end up in Laredo, right?
Depend like because we're a partial carrier, so we have local
Oh
drivers
yeah,
to pick
yeah.
it up, and then we have like stops in Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Laredo. So on the way down, on the way back up, we're always trying to bring. Doesn't matter, like it needs to be one pick, one drop. Just bring the truck back the fastest possible.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that detail. So take me through the whole partial thing because when I was on the carrier side, I mean, I don't know if I ever really got into partials just because I mean it's just much more work. So what are you guys doing? You're leaving with a few loads, heading south, and then when you said you're coming back, you're just doing one pick, one drop.
Yeah, so pretty much we did some calculations for we need to stay like in order to Dallas we stay in between like 100 to $175 a pallet. Houston we're like 2 to 250, and then like Laredo we're trying to be like 250 to $300 a pallet. So which is helping us to increase our gross and rate per mile. And we
Yeah, I mean,
use
that's an interesting approach. So you guys try pricing, and I mean, you've kind of broken down this analysis into a per pallet price.
yeah per pallet and including weight. So depends on the pallet weight that's basically affecting the price as well.
Okay. I mean, are you guys booking a majority of the freight on the spot market, or you have connections that are doing weekly runs, or how does that work?
I'm a big believer in building relationship with the carrier, like with the brokers, customers. We have a one guy who's working on the direct customers all the time, so he brings around 30% of our business. um, and pretty much same brokers, same customers over and over. It's really hard in the beginning, I'll be honest with you, because till the people get to know you. But after like year and a half, sometimes brokers don't need, like most of the times brokers that we work with all the time, they don't even post a freight. They just, hey, we're gonna have the same load in 2 weeks, can you handle, or like in 2 days, and just make sure you provide the service and people gonna return for your services.
Yeah, of course. I'm a big believer on the carrier side, especially given how the market's been the past 2 years, where your service and your communication is really all you can do to stand out, and keep those relationships going. And also, all the freight that you can book through your email before it hits the load board is always going to be the freight you want to be hauling.
Yeah, I mean, we book, like, I would say probably another 30% to 40% through the email, just return customers and brokers.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, I mean, I know we went through this a little on the pre-show. How does your guys' kind of gross and RPM look on a general side through this market with
uh,
the partial scheme, with this whole Illinois, Texas lanes? I mean, that's something that most people aren't really doing.
After analyzing our numbers, like that was half a year ago, we realized that we need to stay like over 240 in order to stay at least a little bit profitable. I'm not talking about making money, but at least grow, because showing consistent growth like 20% year over year. And that's what we concentrate on. In the past couple of weeks, we were like at 260, if I'm not mistaken. So during, like, and again, September was a horrible month, considered a strike and everything. So I still consider we're doing good at this moment.
Yeah, man, I've heard the numbers be anywhere around 2.3, 2.4 on, around 7 gross for dry vans being pretty reasonable these days. So, I mean, I think you guys are doing it good with this whole partial thing. And again, you're avoiding all the tolls, you're avoiding all the mountains, stress on the equipment doing it that way.
Our like goal for a 5 week average needs to be over 8,500 per truck.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, you guys are basically running partials between Illinois and Texas. That's it. That's
That's
the whole game plan.
pretty easy, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, how do you guys go about, I mean, it's an interesting idea to me, hiring dispatchers, hiring a team, hiring the drivers that want to run that, because that was an issue I had with a lot of drivers, is that they didn't like doing the same lanes. They said it got boring after a while. So I mean, how does that kind of look for you guys?
Yeah, there is a different kind of drivers, right? There is some drivers who want to have a consistency and they want to make sure that they, no matter what in this market, they still can make between like 3 to 3,500 miles, and there is like team drivers who wants to make like miles, and in order to wait to make miles, or like, you need to do consistent business, and when you're doing consistent business, that's pretty much all what it takes. But
Yeah, I mean, it's better to keep the drivers moving, even if it's something, that they don't really want to do with the routes, than it is to say, oh, we don't have a load today. Sorry, there's nothing profitable.
and we have like our OTR drivers, they have opportunity just to drop trailer, a local driver will deliver it, they hook to the loaded trailer, and they on the way back to Texas. So, and I think these days, like, drivers will choose stability over like just driving around.
Yeah, I mean, in this market, it's really easy to lose a day here, lose a day there. And if you don't have the right infrastructure and connections set up, then, I mean, losing days is pretty easy. So, I mean, I wouldn't be complaining if I was just driving Illinois, Texas for the rest of my life, never stopping, never getting stuck. So,
Yeah, we have like, I have drivers who's been with the company from the beginning, and our retained ability rate like 80%. So,
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, having a retention rate anything above like 50% these days is nothing to joke about. I mean, what would you say is the biggest challenge for carriers these days, besides the market conditions? I mean, we all know what's going on in the market, but I mean, besides the obvious facts of the market conditions, what do you think carriers are struggling with?
In the beginning, I was like thinking like same because a lot of people saying that you need to get keen into one like commodity or one thing, and a lot of carriers scared to do that because even us in the beginning we have to calculate the miles, and it was hard in the beginning because you need to get your routes, you need to get a brokers, you need to get everything in the beginning, and a lot of carriers they scared to get keen in like one lane or one commodity and usually that's the solution to the problem because if you're gonna get like well like let's say to Atlanta, if you're gonna get like your static customer, that's going to solve the problem, and then you can have a sales team that can target all their like Atlanta manufacturers and everything. You're going to be, hey, we have a trucks there consistently every day, and if they will see your trucks on the road or anywhere, and that's I think that's the solution. Just get keen in certain like either commodity or lane or
An
I don't know.
equipment or anything,
Yeah,
just
definitely
have a
equipment. Yeah,
specialty.
yeah, definitely equipment. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's always good advice. I mean, you see it all the time, have a niche, specialize in something. And that doesn't mean you can't do other things, but always, like you said, it's going to help you get direct freight because you're going to say, hey, look, every Monday, every Wednesday, whatever it is, I have this many trucks in this specific spot. And that's on a weekly basis. And it's much easier to sell to the shipper, hey, let's work together. This is like the lanes that we're always going to be running rather than having 10 trucks that just go wherever they go on the spot market every week. So.
Exactly.
Okay. I want to get into craziest logistics stories with you, whether it be from your days driving, your days as a dispatcher, your days as a carrier owner, whatever crazy stories you might have.
Well, man, I've been in the industry like for 10 years. I have a lot of crazy stories with the drivers and everything. One of the craziest one, when I was working for a reefer carrier, we had a driver who picked it up like fresh chicken from Tyson plant in Alabama, and he was trying to sell that chicken out of the trailer in like 30 miles like after the facility. Like we have cops calling us, like they're like, hey, we like arrest this guy, he was selling like right out of the trailer. So
Wait, so he picked up the freight, drove like 30 miles down the road, opened it up, and just started selling chicken?
yeah, he started like somewhere around Birmingham, Alabama. He was selling chicken right outside of the trailer. So somebody called the cops and he got arrested. That was the crazy. Then we hire a husband and wife once.
Wait, just 1 second. Like, how did he think he was gonna get away with that? Like,
there was no like CDL scan back then. We're talking about like 5 years ago. And then we started digging in, and then we found out that he picked it up a trailer from Amazon, and he was selling diapers out of the trailer. So he could like run the background check on him. So he was charged with that. So pretty much it was not his first time doing it. I don't know why he was thinking he's gonna get away with it second time, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I can understand the thought process. Like, oh, I have a lot of stuff in my truck. I can make some good money with it. But I can't really understand like pulling over on the side of the road and just selling it out of the back of the truck. Like, I don't know. Anyways, all right, moving on from that
That's
story.
that's a pretty much, like fell off the truck.
Yeah, but like in a literal way, you probably had like a little sign out of like cardboard, like, oh, chicken, $20 a box. Like, I don't know, whatever. It's
Just
so weird.
open the door like
Yeah,
with
like
the marker on it,
I
So
don't know if you watched Lord of War, that movie with Nicolas Cage, where like
yeah.
the ATF's coming to bust them, and he just opens up the back of the plane. He's like, "You can take all the guns, take," and like they just take everything in like 10 minutes.
Oh, by
So
the time they
that's like
got
what
there,
I'm.
they took the plane apart.
Yeah, they took like the whole plane was gone too.
Yeah,
Yeah. But all right, what's the next story?
then once we hire a husband and wife signed the like passenger form that she's not gonna drive this and that, and they got a like out of service violation, so they got pulled over. And then she drove a truck, and then they got pulled over in Pennsylvania. A truck got impounded, and cops found like inside of the truck like cocaine, beer, alcohol. Yeah, it was crazy story.
So
Like,
wait, did she have a CDL or she didn't
no,
have a
she
CDL?
didn't have a CDL.
Ah,
She
so
just
she was just driving for fun.
Yes,
Like,
she was just driving
uh,
with her husband. It was
Yeah, I saw
crazy.
somebody made a LinkedIn post yesterday. They did a breakdown of the Blitz Week numbers this year for 2024, and I think it was like 25% of drivers that got pulled over were driving with no CDL, like not expired or suspended, just no CDL at all. And I thought that was pretty insane. But now you just told me the story, so I guess like it does happen. I guess. Like,
Yeah, I mean it happens in like that's why we have a zero passenger policy. We don't allow
yeah,
passengers, our insurance doesn't allow it, so that's why we don't allow.
are you allowed to have pets? Or does that count as a
Oh,
passenger?
pets? Yeah, no, we're not against pets.
Ah, you are okay. So you can have pets.
Yeah, we do allow
Ah,
pets, not a
yeah,
problem.
that's cool. Yeah, pets just know people, man.
Yeah, pets cannot drive, but people can, which is putting your company at risk.
All right, any more stories? I mean, yeah, 10 years. Like that's the thing. In 10 years, you're gonna come across just some insane things slowly.
I am like once driver took a dump at the shipper, like because they didn't want to load
Like
him.
outside,
No, right inside, like it was crazy, man. Like
or like in their warehouse.
yeah, in the warehouse, like so we got blocked like from that shipper. It's
How like, do you know why? Like that seems like something must have happened, some
I
argument.
was like I wasn't dispatching that driver. It was not my guy, but it was in a company where I worked. So
Oh, okay. Thank God.
yeah,
Yeah. Thank God it's not in your current company.
yeah, no, definitely. We don't like we have zero policy tolerance for that.
Yeah, yeah. You've probably learned some things to not allow happen in your own company
Which
over the years.
raising a red flags, when drivers like yelling at dispatchers or like whatever, yelling at brokers, attitude is just not there.
Yeah, but see, that's I was just explaining this to somebody on LinkedIn too, because I was doing some driver recruiting internally for a company I worked for, just trying to help us get some more owner ops that own their own equipment. And like everybody sounds really nice on the phone, and like in the interviews, they're all really nice. And then even like the first week or two, or month or two or three can go by, and everything's cool. But there's always those drivers that the first time a problem happens, like say they need a layover somewhere, they lose their weekend because they can't deliver on Friday, or just when something bad happens, that nice person you just dealt with for weeks or months like can just easily, like I had one guy who just started like threatening to like bring a gun back to the shipper because they want to unload him, and I was like, yo, like it's been 3 months we've worked together, you've been a cool guy, and you just need to lay over one day with a 250 layover from Thursday to Friday, and like this guy lost it. So I mean, that's what I was saying to people, you can't always hold the carrier accountable for the acts of the drivers, because you can hire a driver and they can be a cool person, but eventually they can just kind of freak out one day.
Yeah, I mean, especially like carriers, like we don't have a control over the driver, whatever he's doing in the truck, right? But at the same time, when things like this happen, first thing we were trying to do is maybe just look how much time he's been on the road. Maybe he's overwhelmed. There is a reason why he snapped, and we're trying to send them home to relax for a little bit. Space some
Yeah, I
time.
mean, carriers do their best at vetting the drivers. Carriers do their best at seeing the red flags, but sometimes brokers need to understand, and shippers need to understand that there's just they're people, right? Like they're not just truck drivers; they are humans, and every human has a breaking point sometimes. So,
Yeah, that's for sure. And they like for in the end of the day, they doing the hardest part of the job.
yeah,
So
exactly.
they're driving.
All right, that brings me into this question: what is the worst driver you've ever personally had to deal with?
I'm not gonna mention his name, but like after that driver, like we realized as soon as the driver make like small mistakes, you probably need to start considering of letting him go. So we had a driver who ran over like a curb, ripped like four tires, and then we're like, oh, things like this happen. Don't worry about it. 2 weeks later, he crashed the trailer into the bridge.
Uh,
We let him go, and then we found out that he made an accident in Texas, hit a pole without even reporting to us, and then he just left, and then we get slammed with the police report and everything. So
yeah,
that's driver in our company. Afterwards, we have zero policy for things like when it comes to damage. So
yeah. I mean, I had the same thing happen where like the driver didn't say anything to me, and then we just got like some speeding tickets in the mail. We got like a video sent to our email of him like hitting a fence on some shipper's property. It's like, but that's the worst thing in like my line of work, our line of work, is when they just don't tell you, right? Like, okay, you made a mistake, that's fine. Just like let us know so we can start trying to figure it out. Like, you can't just go like destroy somebody's house or grass or fence and then just tell nobody about it, because we're gonna like hear about it eventually. Like the
Eventually,
company in the truck.
yeah, you're definitely gonna find out because somebody will call you, collecting and everything, and that's, I don't know, man. It just, again, like you said, it's, we're working with people, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I want to ask you this question. Somebody, Dennis, is asking. I mean, obviously, you've probably heard about the changes with the freight guard system. I mean, do you have any advice for carriers on how to maybe stay away from even getting themselves near those situations? Because my best advice to carriers is just be preventative, just be nice to everybody, do good business, try to stay away from those situations altogether.
I agree with you. Like my first thing, like when somebody's threatening you with the freight guard, try to resolve it with the management or somebody higher up. That's what I would suggest. But a lot of times, like brokers posting like emotional freight guards. And first way, like what I would recommend how to resolve it, is talk to the management or somebody. But sometimes it doesn't happen, and maybe you need to get a lawyers involved because there is a structure what they need to, like, or how they need to post a freight guard, like with the proof and everything, and most of the freight guards just have a lot of emotions involved.
Yeah, I mean, our best advice to everybody out there is just do good business, man. And like I always tell carriers, it's better to have a $200 late fee or some unfair charge, and just it sucks, but just take it and just tell the broker have a nice day and just don't work with them again, right? Because it's easier just to stay away from people that are like not doing the business you want to do. So if somebody's making you a problem, just tell them, okay, no problem. And just kind of keep it moving, right? Work with the people that do good business with you.
Yeah, I mean there is brokers that you like definitely don't like want to work with, but in the end of the day, again, it's not even about a brokerage; it's about the relationship with the brokers. So, and obviously, communication is the key in any situation. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing good business and somebody comes across your desk or a driver makes a mistake and somebody's threatening you with stuff, like just do your best to stay out of those situations. I mean, do what you're doing, man. Just run Illinois to Texas, partial.
No, yeah,
Just
I
run
mean,
one lane for the rest of your life. Like,
yeah, just keep it real with the brokers. You know, things like this happens, and like just be honest, and that's it. Like,
yeah, being honest, especially when it sucks. Like I mean, I've had to tell people, you know what, like my driver made a mistake, and like there's nothing I can do about it. Like, how do we, I always think like this: the thing, whatever thing happened, whatever is the issue that happened, it already happened. And like, what are we gonna do about it now, right? Like, the driver's already late; he's gonna miss the delivery. Like, what's the next delivery date? Like, you gotta just start looking into the future and just not kind of dwelling on the issues.
I mean, we're all making mistakes. Like even though, like when we started to implement our TMS and we assigned the wrong trailer to a wrong driver, and then he goes like, "Oh, okay, it's a good thing that we only go to Texas," but he picked it up a wrong trailer, and they're like, "Oh, fuck." Then you call
Yeah,
him.
but you guys only go to one place, so it's
Yeah,
kind of
so you're like,
okay.
"Hey, I'm sorry, we messed it up, driver." Like, and dispatchers mess up, I mess up, everybody makes mistakes. Broker makes mistakes. Just as long as you keep it real with everybody.
Yeah, I found out now that I'm kind of on the broker side of things. Like, man, shippers make mistakes. Everybody's a human, right? Like, even a shipper still has a team of humans. Everybody's a human in trucking. Things are always going to go wrong. It's more about how we deal with them and solve them than it is about the actual things that happen.
But the way I see it, like brokers and the carriers, we are in the same boat, and the shippers. But not all the brokers see this way. Like, and blaming, like pointing fingers. Oh, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Not gonna resolve anything. Like, or
Yeah, it
like,
doesn't fix it.
yeah, it's like, okay, whatever. What do we need to do to resolve this? Or like, what
Yeah,
is it?
yeah. What's the next step? Like,
Yeah.
what's the next delivery day? Let's just start pushing forward from the issues. But that's all some good advice. I mean, being a carrier in this market is tough. It's a very emotional business, especially when you're the owner of the company. I mean, your life is kind of on the line financially, and like you said, you guys have targets of just being able to keep yourselves, afloat. You're not looking to obviously be very profitable, but just to have enough to kind of survive through this.
Yeah, not cut drivers' salaries because we didn't like cut driver salaries at all through all this like 3 years. Nothing like just
Yeah, just to keep everything kind of how it is and just wait it out, basically. Um, Besides that, man, I mean, is there anything left? I mean, that you want to talk about DNM? I mean, you guys are a partial carrier that specializes in dry van freight between Illinois and Texas.
yes, pretty much that's everything that we do. And we're currently hiring drivers and owner operators. So if anyone wants to join the team, please feel free to reach out.
And you have company driving positions open with equipment, I'm assuming.
Yes, most of our truck, like not all, most of us, all our trucks like 2022 and up, we're trying to renew trucks every 3 years. So
Beautiful.
because we're like again, we analyze numbers and maintenance does not make sense after 3 years. So at least
Hey, you guys are like the movie Moneyball, man. You guys are just like you're doing trucking based on only a spreadsheet, man. There's like no, you guys are not allowing for any of the other elements. So
man, in the past 3 years, I analyzed only like realized one thing: numbers do not lie. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing that not doesn't lie.
yeah, that's fair. So if you're a driver that wants to drive between Illinois and Texas, never go to and that's the thing. There's a lot of drivers that hate the Northeast driving in the Northeast. So this is like a pretty chill job position because I mean the first thing when I was a dispatcher, I would ask a new driver, be like, okay, where do you not want to go? And it's always like New Jersey, Northeast. I don't want to ever go near the Northeast.
Yeah, like nobody wants to go to Northeast. Like even like it's hard to drive there with a car. You know, I'm not talking about like with a truck.
With a semi truck, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
had this one driver who went to Manhattan to pick up something for Comic Con, and he was sending me pictures. I couldn't believe it. Like, I don't know how they can drive trucks in those areas, but
And
I mean,
right
that's
now,
why
it's
they're the
west.
professionals.
At this time of the year, it's gonna be west because it's gonna be snow everywhere. Then you need to put a
Yep.
chains, everything like, and that is not fun either. You know,
Yeah,
so
none of that's fun. I mean, shout out to all the drivers. Stay safe out there, especially winter approaching. All of this kind of intense weather in the south going on. Yeah, the weather's crazy, man. But all right, let's get away from all of the serious work stuff. Again, shout out to DNM. If you want to drive between Illinois and Texas, give them a shout. We're gonna get into train and rail transportation. So, regarding train and rail transportation, how many chuggas come before choo choo?
oh, sorry, what is that?
You know, like the when people go like chugga 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 choo choo. You know, like that thing.
Okay,
Okay, how many chuggas would you say come before the choo choo?
I don't know, like four.
Yeah, I also it's like three or four. So.
Yeah.
Um, last question for me, man, and we get into rapid fire with our boy Lev. So regarding chicken wings, when you eat chicken wings, do you prefer drums or flats?
Drums,
Ranch or blue cheese dipping sauce?
ranch,
And breaded or non-breaded?
breaded.
Breaded. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, that's pretty fair. Those are all fair answers. Thank you, Dmitry, for coming by. I'm going to hand you over to Lev to run rapid fire.
Thank you, man.
Hey, Dmitry, thanks for stopping by today. Are you ready to play the rapid fire? We have two games, first of which is called either or. So you need to do a selection, make a selection of whatever you like more. We're trying to get to know you a little bit more. So are you ready?
Go ahead.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate,
Blondes or brunettes?
blondes,
Free lunch or free dessert?
free lunch,
Introvert or extrovert?
introvert,
Paper logs or ELDs?
paper logs,
CH or echo?
echo,
Comedy or horror?
comedy,
Calling or emailing?
calling,
Owner op or company driver?
company drivers all day,
Tequila or whiskey?
whiskey,
Night owl or early bird?
night owl,
Would you rather be on a dating show or survival show?
survival show,
Would you rather lose a load to a competitor or miss a delivery by 5 hours?
rather messy delivery.
That's what I thought. Bezos or Musk?
Oh, Musk,
Would you rather party in Miami or New York?
I thought in both, but in Miami.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Trucking through a snowstorm or navigating rush hour in Chicago?
Navigating rush hour in Chicago.
Harris or Trump?
Trump.
Would you rather be a carrier rep or dispatcher?
Dispatcher.
And what is your best hangover recipe?
IV.
With what?
I mean, just go to the IV station and get some IV, like salted
Right.
water, vitamins.
Water IV. Okay. Well, thanks for playing the first part of the game. The second part of the game, first thoughts. So first thing that comes to your mind when I say the following, you have 5 seconds to answer. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
All right. What's your favorite program to watch on TV?
Netflix. Out of like
Favorite movie on Netflix? Show.
Big Bang Theory.
Okay. Favorite book?
Favorite book.
Alex, where's the timer? Come on. Wake up over there.
Bro, I can't. This guy said Big Bang Theory, bro. I was like,
Why?
laughing over here. I don't know. It's just the craziest as.
How to Make Few $1 Billion by XPO CEO.
What's your favorite U.S. state?
Illinois.
Wow. Favorite truck model?
Fretliner. We're talking about like which trucks?
Well, that works. That works. What do you believe is the most important sales metric?
Rate per mile. I don't know.
Okay. Who is the most important freight influencer in our time?
Right now.
Yes.
Freight waves.
What is your addiction?
I don't feel comfortable answering that.
Come on. We're all there. What's your drink of choice?
Whiskey.
Favorite country to outsource?
Serbia.
What's your favorite salad dressing?
Olive and vinegar. Olive oil vinegar.
What would you say is the weirdest thing about you?
A lot of weird things about me.
We just need one.
I don't know.
I just want to know if it's more weird than Alex's weirdest thing. So
I don't know. What's the Alex's weirdest thing?
come on, we'll get back to that. What's the weirdest thing about you? Give us
I don't
one.
know. I eat the whole nuts before I eat like crumbled nuts. Like I don't know.
Okay. What's the favorite sport at the Olympics?
I don't watch Olympics, but American football.
Favorite historical figure?
Wait. Did you say American football at the Olympics, bro?
No, I said I don't watch Olympics, but
Yeah, keep it at that.
Napoleon.
Celebrity
Stalin.
crush. Who's your celebrity crush?
Oh man, I'm bad at that. I don't know any celebrities.
Favorite city?
Miami.
Favorite ethnic food?
Tacos.
Best TMS on the market in your opinion?
I don't know. Like we have easy loads right now.
Who is your favorite broker?
Echo.
Who's the most challenging broker to work with?
TQL. That's why we don't work with them.
What is the worst complaint that you've heard in your time in the industry?
Worst complaint. I mean, from drivers or brokers? Like
Doesn't matter.
I don't know why load is not delivered.
Dmitry, thank you for playing. It was a pleasure getting to know you. So we look forward to having you on at some point with more crazy stories.
Thanks for having me.
I got one more thing for you before we leave. If I can figure out how to get us back to this. Thank you, Lev, for hosting Rapid Fire. Have a good rest of your day, night, whatever time it is for you. I just realized I forgot to ask you one thing that I wanted to ask you on like a personal level. So you have like a pretty big Instagram, man. How did you kind of go about building your Instagram profile? And also, by the way, if you want to shout out your Instagram, I can't remember. Is it just DNM Transportation?
DNM Trends. I don't know. I have a friend who built like big promotion company, I would say, in like 5 cities, and he showed me power on Instagram. And that's
Yeah.
we started like posting like videos, reels, like, and a lot of them just reposted collaboration with the different like Instagram pages. And man, it was an exciting journey. Like, we're a small company, but I have people like reaching out from the whole world, like, hey, I can drive for you, So it's pretty cool. Like, and a lot of like different, like from a different countries. Like, we had like influence from Colombia sending us some content and like, hey, please tag us on it. And yeah, I realized that social media it's really important for every business right now.
Yeah, it's definitely the age of social media. And I mean, between LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, I guess X, not Twitter anymore. But if you're not doing social media, especially as a smaller business, you're just kind of, it's just free. It's like free advertising, it's free marketing, it's free lead generation. I mean, it's just something you can take advantage of.
Yeah, definitely. I would recommend for everybody, do it, post something, and consistency. Another thing what we realized about a social media is consistency. Put it the same time, same days, same, like everything. Do the same for like weeks in
How
order to.
long did you guys like when did you start the whole Instagram journey? Because I mean, like I said, you guys are pretty big, that's for sure.
We started like pretty much like in the beginning, like, because we outsourced it to one company, and in the beginning it cost us like $1,500 a week, and it was not doing anything. And then we hire like our own marketing person inside of the company, and that's pretty much when we took a control of everything, ad spending and everything, and it took off.
Yeah, that's cool. No, thank you for that. That was just something more of a personal thing. But again, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming on, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
Yeah, if you need a guy, I can hook you up with my guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep trying to do it myself, but I saw your numbers, so maybe I do want to talk to your guy.
Well, I'm always there for you.
All right, stay safe between Illinois and Texas, bro.
Thank you, man. Take care.
That wraps up podcast episode 44 with Dmitry, the president of DNM Transportation. If you need a solid carrier or some advice about Instagram, hit them up.